Oh, hello and welcome to another video. This is another unscripted video. I wanted to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff that happened yesterday. It's been way more than 24 hours since the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and there's a lot to talk about. So let's dive in. Now, first, let's talk about the console itself. So they did reveal a lot more about what the console is going to be capable of. So they did announce that the handheld mode, it's going to be 1080p, and it runs up to 120 frames per second, which is really impressive. They haven't released anything specific about like the specs or anything like that, other than earlier today, they did reveal that NVIDIA was working on custom GPU sort of thing. It does have DLSS and ray tracing, just like the rumors said. But other than that, there wasn't anything specific around it. It's still pretty powerful compared to the Nintendo Switch 1. Of course, with running at 120 frames per second, I think it's very impressive. Now, of course, the biggest thing, it's going to run at 4K when it's docked. I think this is going to be a big deal for a lot of people. Not really for me, but it's interesting to see that it's capable of running 4K at 60. Games like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was announced that it's going to run at 4K and 60, or you can run it at 1080p with the 120 FPS. So when it comes down to the console itself, it's really cool to see how much they have upgraded the console, like from the storage, from graphics. Oh, the storage is going to be 256 gigabytes of internal storage. So that's according to Nintendo, 8 times more compared to the Switch 1 when it first launched on 2017. So yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of more storage. I think it's going to be a good idea for people that already have like tons of games like myself. I have a 1 terabyte micro SD card on my Switch and it's almost full, so we'll see about that. It's going to be really interesting to see how that's going to work with bigger games. Like they did announce that Cyberpunk, Final Fantasy VII remake, it's are coming to the Switch 2. It's going to be very weird to see those games in a lower memory capacity. We'll see if that's going to work, but now they talked about the controllers as well. So we have what it's called Joy-Cons 2. They have the HD Rumble 2, and it's going to have some different functionalities. Like, for example, it's going to be magnetic now. It's not going to have that snapping thing that the first one had, which is really interesting. They did say that the way that it's connected, at least the magnets, it's going to prevent it from snapping off or, you know, creating any sort of damage. I do want to see that, how it's going to go in the future, like with the wear and tear. The more you use it, I want to see if that's going to be reliable in like 2 years time, maybe. We'll see about that. They also did say that the mouse controllers, there's going to be a lot of games with that sort of support, especially games like I predicted on the video. If you've seen it, go ahead and check it. Most of the stuff that I said there came true. I'm very happy about that, actually. But for the mouse controllers, they did say that you could play first-person shooters like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. You have the option to play it with that sort of mouse functionality, which it's game-changing if you think about it. You know, there's nothing else out there that is like this. So there is an option to obviously put a keyboard and a mouse on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, but the fact that Nintendo has like those capabilities to just use your controllers as a mouse, I think that's revolutionary. There's 3 functionalities in 2 controllers, which is really cool. So you have the gyroscope, you have the mouse functionality, and motion control. So that is very, very cool. I think that this is definitely an upgrade. I do want to see more games with this sort of technology implemented. They did say also that some other third-party games are going to have that sort of support, which is really cool. I'm going to go with the games a little bit in a little bit, but the console itself, it's shaping up to be the absolute best. Now it's interesting to see how that's going to change in the next couple of months. It's going to be released on June 5th. The pre-orders, however, are going to be on the 9th. So by the time that I release this video, you still have around like a couple of days before the actual pre-orders go live. So we still have time. They have said that the priorities right now are going to be the people that have the membership, the Nintendo Switch Online membership, just so scalpers don't go ahead and do whatever they do, which is a really cool idea. It's good. I think PlayStation did the same thing with PlayStation 5. I think I at least I did get a notification that I had like 72 hours to respond to an email, so I could get it, and that's what I did, and it worked. So hopefully Nintendo goes the same route, because yeah, the scalping situation in 2020 was horrible for both the Xbox and PlayStation. So we'll see how that's gonna entail. I think that with the Nintendo Switch 2 and the demand and how close it is and all the stuff that they announced, I think scalpers are just gonna take advantage of it. So hopefully we don't see that. Now let's talk about the games. So they announced so many games, first party and third party and indies and everything in between. So I'm just gonna go with the biggest ones. So they did talk about Mario Kart. The new Mario Kart game is going to be called Mario Kart World, which I definitely thought that Mario Kart 9 wasn't going to be the name of the game, which is really cool. So they did show a lot of footage of it, a lot of gameplay, a lot of features that they're going to implement. So it's going to be an open world Mario Kart game. They're kind of like, you know, mixing like Forza Horizon with Mario Kart, which is really cool. It's really interesting. It does have some customization options, and most importantly, like the online functionalities. It looks like this is shaping up to be the most interconnected Mario Kart game so far, and the biggest one too. So it has like different regions you can just connect and to a race and go. It has a Grand Prix option, which is of course the default, but there's also something called Knockout Tour, which is kind of like Battle Royale sort of when you think about it, where it has like different checkpoints, and if you are it's like elimination, sort of the elimination option from past games and Battle Royale. So if you're like, the checkpoint says like 16 players, and if you're in 17th, then you're eliminated. So I think that's going to be really cool. It's something different, that's for sure, for Mario Kart. Also, there's going to be different gameplay styles, so you can now slide through rails, or grind through rails, I should say. Also, there's going to be wall climbing, which is really, it looks, I'm not gonna lie, it looks a little weird at first, but this is like, okay, I like this. You know, this is that type of feeling, that type of vibe. I like where this is going. It's coming on June 5th as well with the Nintendo Switch 2. It was kind of obvious that it was going to be a launch title. I mean, I when they announced it back in January, I think it was weird that they announced it so early, or they showed footage of it so early. So it was kind of obvious that they were going to go with the launch title route. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool. Another game that I wasn't expecting was another Donkey Kong game, and not really like, I mean, at this point, yeah, I wanted a Donkey Kong game, but a 3D platformer, we haven't seen one since the Nintendo 64, and that was made by Rare at the time. So it was really cool to see Donkey Kong getting the spotlight at this point, especially during the first couple of months of the Switch 2. I think it's going to be really cool. It looks amazing as well. Graphical wise, it looks so beautiful. The colors, the world looks amazing. Donkey Kong himself looks very expressive, surprisingly. I am really into this. The destruction of this game is something that I wish more games had. I'm not gonna lie. It looks so intuitive. It looks so creative. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I want more games like this. I want more games where it's not about graphical achievements. Like, I don't want to see like every little detail on a person's skin, when in actuality I'm not gonna see that in real time, you know, unless I'm using photo mode. But let's be honest, like, I use photo mode a lot, but how often do you see those types of details? You know, how often do people stop and they're like, oh, let me see how the eyes look or whatever? No, I think that this approach, especially Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's called. Very weird name, by the way. It's hard to say. I don't know. For me, it's kind of hard to say. Anyway, the thing is, the type of game that this game is it's just, it's amazing, you know, and it looks very appealing. We'll see how this game is going to work. They did show a lot more gameplay, and by the time I release this video, there's going to be a Nintendo Treehouse event today and tomorrow. So just so you have an idea, it's April 3rd and April 4th. So if you want to check that out, you can. There's going to be more gameplay, more stuff. They are doing a lot of like press stuff, like really more information about what's going on with not only the games but the console itself. So we'll see how that's gonna go. Another game that I was kind of expecting, it was on my list, but I was so happy that they announced it. Cyberpunk 2077. Again, if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and watch it. A lot of the stuff that I was really kind of like curious about, it got real, like very real in this direct. So Cyberpunk 2077 is coming, and not just the base game, like it's coming with the Phantom Liberty expansion. Just so you know, the reason why this is a big deal for me is because that expansion didn't release on the base PS4 or PS4 Pro. Same thing with the Xbox One. So the fact that they are releasing this on both on the Nintendo Switch 2, like both things in one package, I think that's really impressive. So they did release it. They did reveal that it's gonna come out the same day as the Switch 2 is gonna come. Again, June 5th. And it's gonna have everything from mouse controls to motion controls, and it's gonna implement a couple of things that Nintendo Switch 2 has. So hopefully I can get it. I want to get it. I'm really excited about this. I'm probably gonna buy it. It's probably gonna be like my Nintendo Switch 2, Mario Kart World, and Cyberpunk 2077. I think that's gonna be really cool. They did also announce that Elden Ring is coming, another one in my list. I'm very happy about that as well. But it's going to be Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. So based on the information that I've gathered, it's going to include the expansion Shadow of the Erdtree, and there's going to be some little upgrades as well, some little features like Torrent. It's going to have some customization options. There's going to be some new armor and all that stuff. So they From Software did go on record on their website and their social media that they are implementing this not only for the Switch 2, it's going to come to the other consoles as well. So that's going to be pretty cool to see. I do have it on PlayStation 5 and Xbox, so might as well just get it on Switch. From Software also announced that they're going to be working, or they're going to release a new game, a brand new game called The Duskbloods. This has a lot of like Bloodborne vibes, which I really like. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't finish Bloodborne. Like, it was way too hard for me. I did like what I played, but you know, with the demand of people wanting more Bloodborne, I think that this is gonna scratch that itch. I don't know if Sony is actually gonna do anything about it. I doubt it, but the Duskblood, it looks like it's gonna, again, scratch that itch. It looks very weird, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it has some really weird stuff. Like, there is some like steampunk stuff, then you see like vampires, then you see like this character turning into like a T-Rex or something. It looks very weird, very interesting, but I'm not really against it, to be honest. It is releasing next year, and it's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive, which is really interesting. From Software has only released one game, as far as I know, Dark Souls Remastered. Then they're going to release Elden Ring. It's going to come in 2025, right? But that's pretty much their second game, and now the Duskbloods. You know, the possibilities at this point are endless. I want to see Armored Core. I definitely want to see more From Software games in this console. Again, we'll see what happens there. They also revealed a new Hyrule Warriors game. So, For us Zelda fans, this is big. They are not only doing a new Hyrule Warriors game, they are just like expanding the story from Tears of the Kingdom from when Zelda was in old Hyrule. I think this is just a great idea. I wanted to see more, to be honest. So we will see it this winter. They did reveal a little bit of gameplay. It looks like Link is not involved in this one. It's called Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. It's going to be about the imprisonment war, so hopefully we'll see more of Ganondorf doing this game. I think Tears of the Kingdom easily is one of the best games ever. And yeah, there were some shortcomings. I wanted to see more about that imprisonment war. I think the mystery around it was very appealing to me. And actually watching it now, I think I will buy this game. Again, it's coming out this winter. There is no release date. There is a trailer and it looks really, really cool. Kirby Air Riders, they did reveal it. That was like one of their last announcements, actually. This is a sequel from 2003's Kirby Air Ride. So for those who played it, I didn't. Apparently it's one of those cult classic games, like those hidden gems. It wasn't a perfect game by any means, but it was cool enough to gain a fan base. So it's really cool to see that this game is actually going to be releasing. Masahiro Sakurai from Super Smash Bros. Fame, he is directing this game, so this is a very big deal. He did announce that a couple of years back that he was already working on a new game. Everybody expected to, for him to be doing either a Smash game or another Kirby game. So watching him like coming back after working so hard for Super Smash Brothers and just doing this is not a small game, but it is smaller compared to Super Smash Brothers. So it is going to be really cool to see. It's coming out on July 17th. Now from this section on, there are some Nintendo Switch 2 edition games. So for example, if you purchased some games from the Switch 1, let's say Mario Party Jamboree, there's going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. There's going to be some new things, some new let's say mini games and features coming. I forgot to mention that there's going to be like a camera that you can use for game chat on Nintendo Switch 2, which is a whole feature on itself. It's kind of like the game share thing that PlayStation has, where you can like share your screen and talk to other people. It's really cool and really intuitive, right? But they're also implementing this for some games. More specifically, mini games on Mario Party Jamboree. So for you to access this, you don't only need to obviously have a Nintendo Switch 2 console. I think that's obvious. You also need to buy this upgrade pack. These upgrade packs, they don't have like a specific price. It is expected to be from $10 to $15. You can also buy the full game if you want to with that Nintendo Switch 2 edition. In terms of pricing, which that's going to be on my later topic, because it's very controversial right now. The conversation is really hot when it comes to pricing with the Nintendo Switch 2 games. But use these new features like the voice chat and the the camera and this microphone that they implemented as well, so you can play these games kind of like what the DS did with like new games, like using the microphone, like clapping or something like that. It looks very interesting. It kind of like puts you in the game as well, which is really cool. But this type of thing, I'm kind of, it's sort of gimmicky, I'm not against trying something new. Donkey Kong Bonanza is a great example of it, but this type of stuff, where you can use, where it kind of like gives you that idea of how to use the console, the capabilities of it, I do find it a little bit gimmicky. They also announced the Switch 2 editions for both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I am very excited about that. I personally, okay, so I'm going to be very clear. I love these games, all right? I do. But they can look a little weird, and the performance, at least in some areas, it's kind of hard to, play sometimes. So with this new Nintendo Switch 2 edition, it's going to support HDR, I think it's uncapped frames, and better resolution. So of course they already have a 4K trailer out there with gameplay and stuff, and it looks amazing. Hopefully, I mean, I can get it on launch day. It is going to be available on launch day, so it's not like they're going to have upgrade packs, you know, like a 2-in-1 sort of thing. No, you got to buy them separately. There are going to be some physical versions of these games. Just mind you, not every single game is going to have like a physical cartridge. Apparently they did say that while you can get like the actual box, there are going to be some ones that are, you know, digital. You're going to have a code in it, which is really weird. I mean, they've done it in the past. There's like Fortnite boxes for Nintendo Switch, and then you can download like a code or something like that. I never saw the use of it. Personally, I don't think this is a good idea, but they're doing it. So yeah, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, it's going to be both on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, which is really cool. Like I said before, it's going to implement some of the newer features of the controllers, like the mouse option, or you can use like motion controls, and it's going to be at 4K 60 FPS, which is really cool. Now, we don't have any more information about like a release date yet. It is coming this year, but there's nothing else. There's going to be some gameplay about it too during the next couple of days. So hopefully we can see more. I really want to see more about this game. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is getting an expansion called Star-Crossed World. It is gonna include, of course, again the whole game, and it's gonna implement some of the newer technology as well, a higher frame rate, all that stuff. And there's gonna be like a whole new expansion. It looks very interesting. Personally, I think Kirby and the Forgotten Land is my favorite Kirby game of all time. It's so fun. It gets challenging in places, surprisingly challenging, especially at the end of the game. But it looks so cool. It looks so amazing. It looks so pretty. Kirby is like the one game that I can't hate or I can't dislike. So I definitely want to see more. It is coming August 28th. Pokemon Legends ZA, they did reveal that it's going to have both versions as well. There isn't anything new about it. If you saw the direct from last week, you already know what's going on. It's still coming in 2025. Civilization 7 is going to have the Switch 2 edition. It's coming on launch day. Shadow Labyrinth. This game looks very interesting. So they did talk about it last week. This is like Pac-Man, but you know, a little bit darker, a little bit more sinister, kind of very mysterious. I'm really into it, very creative. It's coming July 18th. And now they also did reveal that the Nintendo Switch Online is gonna have a new option. So you can play GameCube games now. But mind you, this is a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. So if you think that this is going to be for the Nintendo Switch 1, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. They did reveal that there's only going to be 3 games at launch, which are Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX. With more games, of course, coming in the future, like Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon Coliseum, Mario Sunshine. All of those games are coming in the future. The Nintendo GameCube has a very good catalog of games. I really do want Eternal Darkness, I think it's called, for this. I think this is a perfect moment to expose this game to the world, because it's been locked in the original GameCube way back then. And of course, this is also going to be available on launch day. So for the next couple of games, I'm just gonna go through them really quick because there really isn't any more information about it. So Borderlands 4 is coming. The new EA Sports FC with 2K as well. All of their sports games, they're coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. Enter the Gungeon 2, Fast Fusion. Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming as well. There's going to be a new version of Fortnite. Hades 2, Hitman, Hogwarts Legacy is going to have another upgrade, let's say. And this is a surprise of the I think the whole direct. Hollow Knight Silksong. So it's been quiet for way too long, and now they did reveal that it's coming on 2025. We only had like 4 seconds, but we did see it. Human Fall Flat 2, Kanetsugami, Path of the Goddess, Madden, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, and Project 007. There are a lot more games coming with Nintendo Switch 2 versions. I just went quick through some of them because it's a lot If anything, I will have that information linked down below so you can see them. I'm just gonna put the Nintendo Switch website so you can see what is going to be available. And with that being said, I really think, at least my initial thoughts about this, Nintendo Switch 2 saved the generation. There's no question about it. Now, the problem with this, and it's been revealed throughout the last, I want to say, like 24 hours after the Direct happened, it's the pricing. So, let's talk about it. The pricing for everything here, it's way too expensive. So, for starters, the Nintendo Switch 2, the console itself, it's going to be $449.99 on the US. So if you know about this with like the tariffs and all that stuff that it's going on over here with like the new laws and stuff, of course that's going to affect a lot of game makers and developers. This is going to be very, very hard, very expensive. So for starters, yeah, $449. And there is going to be a bundle with the Mario Kart World game, which is going to go to $500. So I think that's the best deal that you can go, because Mario Kart World is going to be $90 or $80, I think, just the base game. There hasn't been any announcements about DLC and stuff, but just consider this as a warning for the future. A lot of people are very against it. I am against it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a huge Nintendo fan. I'm a Nintendo kid, but this is just getting ridiculous. And if Mario Kart World is gonna be $80, I don't want to imagine games like GTA 6. It's gonna be very that conversation. I think it's not gonna end. With inflation and all this stuff happening in the world. Of course, it's going to affect pricing and stuff. So everything is expensive. That's for sure. The controllers are $80. The Joy-Cons, same thing with the Pro Controller. The camera, I think it's like 30 something bucks or $50, something like that. So yeah, everything is going to be very expensive. And then if you want to buy, like, let's say the Nintendo Switch 2 version of, let's say Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, that's going to be $60-70. If you don't have it on Nintendo Switch 1, of course. If you do have the Nintendo Switch 1 version, you got to pay like $10-15. That's still there, kind of. I don't like the idea of having to pay for that, but hey, they got to make money somewhere, right? But yeah, the fact that this is going to be like the new standard for games, especially first-party games, I think it's going to be very controversial. So for third-party games, as far as I can see, they're still going to be on that $60-70 pricing. With Street Fighter 6, for example, which I forgot to mention, Street Fighter 6 is going to be $60, and it's going to have like some other stuff. They're going to have like fighters and stuff from like the DLCs. They're going to be implemented here. Same thing with Cyberpunk 2077. The Ultimate Edition is going to be $60. So I don't know how far they're going to go with like, hey, third-party developers, let's just do $70 at everything. Let's do $80. So it's going to be a very weird sort of territory there. We're going to go into this new generation. I mean, we've already seen it with $70 priced games. So now that Nintendo is going the next step, I think that's going to be very weird. I think it's still going to sell. However way you see it, it's going to sell a lot. There's no question about it. We as fans, we talk shit. I'm sorry that I'm talking like this, but we talk shit about, hey, everything is so expensive. But then these developers, they announced like, oh, we sold 10 million copies or 20 million copies in a week. So who's really at fault here? Like, if you have a quality game, yes, you want your money, your money's worth, right? But you can't be hypercritical. The only way that we can solve this is with our own decisions, with our own wallets. But I think that since they see like, hey, these games are selling like hotcakes. Look at Tears of the Kingdom. It was the only exclusive at the time that cost $70, and it sold very, very quickly, very much. So I think that's going to be it for today. It's a very lengthy video as it is, so I tried to be as quick and try to summarize everything as much as I could. But my initial reactions, I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this. I am cautiously optimistic about the pricing. I really hope that we don't see this happening with every single game being 80, 70. It's being up in the air pretty much at this point, but I really do want to see some sort of consistency. Hopefully we don't see this being implemented with third-party games, because this is going to be huge if it happens. But other than that, I'm very excited about the Switch 2. I am definitely going to be pre-ordering it. And let me know what you think about this. What other games are you expecting on the Nintendo Switch 2? What games do you want? What are you buying? Are you actually going to get it? What do you think about the pricing? Just let's start that conversation here down below in the comments. Try to be as civil as possible, because this is a very touchy subject. With that being said, thank you very much for being here. You'll see me on the next one.